Okay, now we're going to look at the back side of this, which is kind of the first few days of our unit. So I'll go ahead and take a look. So the first thing again is we're talking about drawing angles. So again, remember when I draw an angle, the initial side is always going to be that ray that's going to be that half of the x-axis. And then you need to figure out where is 42. So if we look at this one, 42 is going to be in quadrant 1. So I'm going to draw an angle here, and then I'm going to make sure I put the little arrow. Which quadrant is it in? It's in quadrant 1. Let me do a -1. Again, here's my initial side. There's my initial side. My terminal side is going to be 115. So what it is it's 90, and then it's into quadrant 3. And I make that arrow going backwards, and this guy's in quadrant 3. And then the one that goes around. So again, initial side, 405 is going to make a complete circle. And what's going to happen after it makes that complete circle? So minus 405 degrees. After I add the 360, it says I want you to go negative 45 degrees more. So it's going to put me down into quadrant 4. And what's going to happen is I want to look, see the one that does the loop-to-loop, points it here, and says I ended up in quadrant 4. Now, positive and negative coterminals, that means add 360 to get a positive, 360. And that's going to give me 455 degrees, and that's my positive coterminal. And then I'm going to do 95 minus 360, and that's going to give me negative 265. And that's my negative coterminal. So just add 360, subtract 360. The one you got to be careful about is one like this. When I add 360, I end up with 832 degrees. But when I subtract 360, so that was my positive. But when I subtract 360, what's going to happen is I am going to get 112. That's not a negative number. So what I need to do is I need to subtract 360 again. And when I subtract 360 again, I'm going to get negative 248 degrees. That negative number is my negative coterminal. Same idea over here with the -1. You're going to add twice. So now, degrees to radians. We multiply by pi over 180. What I keep saying is just bring the pi over. Go to your calculator, and the way you're going to do it is in your calculator, you're going to do alpha. Y equals. Enter. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you a fraction box like that. You're going to put the degrees up top, 25. You're going to put 180 down below. And when it simplifies, you're going to get 5/36. And that's going to mean it's 5 pi over 36. So again, use that in the calculator. To go the opposite way, we multiply by 180 over pi. To go from radians to degrees, these pi's cancel out. I'm left with 180 divided by 9, 20 degrees. Same idea is going to happen. Like if I do it over here, I multiply 180 over pi. Now just be careful, just the pi's cancel. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to do in the calculator -11 times 180. And then what you're going to do is you're going to divide that by 2 in the calculator. When you do that, you're going to get negative 990 degrees. So that is our radians to degrees. Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So in this case, I gave you c. I gave you one of the legs a. So to figure out that x, that's this b part, you're going to say 4 squared plus x squared equals 7 squared. And what I said to do is we're going to subtract this 4 squared from both sides. And we're going to end up with x squared equals 7 squared minus 4 squared. Put that into our calculator. We're going to find out that that is going to equal 33. It's going to equal 33. So that tells me that x squared is going to equal 33. So that tells me x is going to equal the square root of 33. And that's the answer. Don't simplify it. It's the square root of 33. This one right here is the traditional version of a squared plus b squared. I gave you a, I gave you b. So you're going to do 14 squared plus 11 squared equals x squared. And you go to your calculator, you'll find out that this equals 317. You take the square root of both sides, and x is going to equal root 317, and that's how we're going to leave it. And last but not least, this last one at the bottom. Last one at the bottom is our SOHCAHTOA one. Our SOHCAHTOA one. So it's sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite, sine is opposite. So this is my opposite side. This is my adjacent side. This is my hypotenuse. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, 12/20. Leave it alone. Don't simplify it. Cosine is adjacent, 16 over 20. 16 over 20. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, 12 over 16. And to get the cosecants, we just flip the fractions, 20 over 12, 20 over 16. 16 over 12. So that's a quick kind of a review of that review guide. I'm going to tell you the test is going to be a little bit shorter. I believe it's only 20 or 21 questions, but it's going to be these types of questions. So please practice it and ask me questions if you got them.